Morning guys, it is currently 6 AM. Me and Dan are heading up to Derville for another overnight trip, and we're going to target primarily snapper and probably kingfish. We're going to go for grouper too, aren't we? So me and Dan are heading up, and we're going to try for the trifecta, all three, grouper, snapper and kingfish. Weather is meant to be good. Last trip the weather sucked, so it foiled our plans actually, in 15 to 20 knot winds going for grouper. That went completely pear-shaped. But let's get into it. Right, we've just turned up to our first fishing spot. We're fishing off Black Reef on the western side of Derville, and we're going to have a drop here and see if we can't catch a snapper or maybe a John Dory or even a cod. I forgot my sunglasses, my Shimano sunglasses, and luckily I found these little chody ones, so I'm a bit emotional at the moment that I've left my sunnies at home. Dan's getting ready, he's all organised. I'm going to break out the old butt juice and give that a whirl today and see if it can help us catch a few fish. But we are ready to go for drop one. A few fish on the sounder, coming up to a few at the top end of the reef. So what we generally do if we're going to drift and we're fishing up Derville is, first of all, we'll go and stop in the middle of the spot where we're going to fish. We'll get the gear ready and we'll see which way we're going to drift with the tide and the wind. So you're going to do a bit of a dummy drift basically, and that's what we've done, and we've drifted right out to the western side. So we're going to go up and see if we can't grab a snapper or a cod or a Johnny. The weather on the way up, it was doing a southerly to start with, then it went nor'easter. As we got closer to Derville, the bottom end of Derville, it was punching a sou'wester about 10 to 12 knots. So I got a little bit lumpy on the way up, which wasn't forecast once again. But it's all good, we're up here now.
You want to give me a little bit of reverse?
Not really, Dan. I've just dropped Dan into the Barracuda Mecca, and it's fair to say it's pretty solid Barracuda side. Actually, I'll show you that so you guys have an idea of what the old Barracuda look like on the NSS Evos. So that wavy sign is Barracuda. Right, so the Procure butt juice. So this stuff here, it's quite thick, so you don't want to put it on your skirt. Today I'm using a Shimano bottom ship, and I've got the old fast clip there. So we use these all the time. You can change your lure out, change the weight in a split second. With the butt juice too, because it's thick, you don't want to get any of that onto these skirts, otherwise it'll clog it all up and you won't get the action or the motion in the water or the current. So you can jam it up on the inside here, or actually up in the channel of the bottom ship or whatever lure you're running. Coat the whole lure. So let's give butt juice a crack. How are we looking, Dan? Not much going on.
Nothing happening.
I think we've drifted a bit of a way too. Yeah, we've drifted right out. Right, today I'm fishing with the old trusty Stella 1000, as I always do. And I've got the new Diluna 8'6" rod, and it's got the center tip, so it's actually a very light, very cool rod. It's a 3 to 21 gram rod, and I'm using 150 gram to 250 gram lures, and it manages as alright. It's not, I wouldn't say it's your most ideal rod for it, but you know, I like to try different rods and different things, and this rod is managing the lures perfectly. Dan's running the Shimano Game and Getsu rod with the, what have you got on, the Osea Jigger 1000?
Oh, this is for a Trinidad.
Oh no, he's got a Trinidad and an Energy Concept. What happened to the other one? Oh, you haven't even set it up.
It's got cooties.
Did you lose it?
Yep.
Dan just got cooted. Oh, classic. And I've just got tip wrap. There's definitely some good cooter there, Dan. You should have landed him. We need him for bait.
Oh.
One lure down to Dan. Well, we know the old cooter like the butt juice. Right, it's 10 in the morning. Me and Dan just moved spots because it was pretty dead where we were. Lots of sign, but the fish weren't feeding. Change of the tide, we reckon. Just moved to the new spot. Tide's running here. So, first drop on the new spot. Hit the bottom. Couple of goes and we're in. That was torturous with Dan. Usually Cohen's real quick, brings his rod up, but Dan was mucking around, caught the bottom. Just leisurely having a casual cruise while this thing's getting smoked. That took some serious line. It's training up Dan to be a efficient skipper. So when you hook up, if you hook up with your mates and you get a decent fish, you want to stay on the helm, and the best thing to do is watch your mate's line, and you want to be vertical, so you want to be straight up and down. And that's a better chance of landing the fish. It won't reef you if it gets on a big angle. And it's just easier if you drive to what's going to be more comfortable for your mate fishing. So what I'm meaning there is having this line's going forward, so we kind of want it straight out the side here so you can actually battle the fish a bit more comfortably, especially when it's terrible weather. You punch it forward, Dan. After that, I still had to tell him. I don't blame him though, he hasn't been fishing for a while. Yeah, out of gear, mate, we're good there. He hasn't been fishing for quite some time, so he's slacked off on a lot of this carry on. Probably punch her in reverse, Dan. Straight reverse there. Just straight round that way more. Here we go. We got fish. Actually, it's going to be a cracker. Oh, this is a good first fish. Yeah. First fish of the day. And there he is there. I don't know if you guys can see him. That's a good start to the day. I'm stoked with that. It's a nice fish. He fought pretty good too. He was ripping some line. But to be fair, I would have thought he was a lot bigger by the way he was fighting. But stoked with that. We'll go back up and we'll do another drift. Wicked start. Whoa, easy Dan. It's a serious big motor we're using now. What's the time? It's about I think about 10:30, 11ish. Dan's into his first fish now, and he reckons it's a good one, but we can't hear it. It's got on the Trinidad, so it doesn't. Is it actually stripping line?
Yeah, a little bit. Going up straight and up and down, so I don't reckon it's that big, but it's not bad. It's just got a bit of toe. Oh, Jesus.
You alright, mate? You're not used to fishing carry
yeah,
on,
no,
are you?
honestly, my arms are actually starting to hurt. Oh.
How are we looking, Dan?
It's got to be close. Fruity colour.
What's your last colour?
Oh, no, it's more about, I'm getting close to filling up the spool. so no, I didn't count. Oh, it's just given up.
You must have a good one, or you just got a rock. Nah, I can't have a rock fish because it's drifting up. It's coming up on that angle. Shit, I think it's a cracker. Oh, it is a good fish. Oh, that's... Oh, wow. Good job, Dan.
That's about the same size as yours, though, isn't it?
Mine was a little bit bigger, I think.
Mine's quite a lot.
You must be stoked with that, though. It's been a while, eh?
Yeah,
How's your arms? Are a little bit sore?
3 months. No, now the adrenaline's kicking in, that's good.
And the old Shimano Paku Paku. First fish in how many months?
3 months. 3 months, yeah. Good fish.
Right, it's 11:30. We've caught a couple. Well, Dan's actually been cleaning up. He's caught a couple of pannies, but now he's just into a. He's called it the biggest fish of the trip.
Ooh, Jesus.
Are you still claiming it?
Yeah, I think so. But I'm not entirely sure of the variety. I think I feel like it got eaten halfway up. Or woke up, seriously.
What do you mean? Like something had a go at it?
Down halfway up, like it looked like it just. It almost felt like it was rolling itself up in the line or something. But like it just.
What?
The whole line was shaking and the rod was shaking.
What colour line? What's your last colour? How have you forgotten, Dan?
I'm so excited now.
I hear you. Turn that motor and hopefully that wind will spin us round this way a bit better, Dan.
Maybe I'm dragging that island over there a little closer. Feels like it. Oh, there's nothing happening with it now. It's just,
You can't be far off.
no, that's right. No.
Definitely a snapper.
Not that big either, is it? How embarrassing. It's not.
It's not bad.
It might be the biggest one of these.
Need him for you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Some dolphins. Look, just under the boat.
Oh, wow. Don't eat your snapper.
Oh, good shot. Oh, wow. That picks up. I wonder if it's because I'm dragging it up on the side or something.
Well, that's not a bad fish. I'd say maybe around that 14 pound. Be 14 pound. Close to that anyway. Maybe a bit more. It's a good fish though. We've got a nor'easter coming in, a slight breeze, maybe about 5-6 knots. But it's pretty good up here at the moment.
She's still very much alive.
I thought you had a 20 pounder the way you carried on.
I know. Honestly.
Dan's cleaning up today. Just got another fish. We're all about the same size at 10 to 12 pound actually. No monsters as of yet.
I realise I was on film.
It's just gone 20 past 1. Me and Dan just had lunch and it has slowed right down. Trying to track some fish and there's nothing around at all actually. Massive school of Terraki. I know Terraki Trevally just went through, but no snapper whatsoever. We're just going to do one more drift here in this spot, and if we don't hook up we're going to make our way to another spot. And what are we going to do for the arvo actually, Dan? Do you want to go for groper today or go tomorrow? So at this point we have no idea what we're going to do. Dan's saying yeah, let's go for a groper. I'm sort of not motivated to go for a groper. But we could do. Nothing much else is going on here. Well, we'll do one more drift and see if we can't get something. Right, it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's been hard work for me and Dan all afternoon. Nothing's really playing ball. I was trying to do a talk, lost it. I've seriously spiraled into fishing depression. This afternoon's been real bad. Some mates have been right next to us. They caught a 26 pounder or 86 centimetre snapper, and so that spiraled me into serious fishing depression. I've lost so much gear today and just dropped so many fish. Sometimes things just don't go your way, and this afternoon, or today, has definitely been that way for me. I did catch this though. This is pretty trippy, so I'll show you this bad boy. Just got this frost fish. Check that out. It's so smooth and shiny. Apparently these are really good smoked, but he just hit that on the way up as I was retrieving the lure and got him near the surface. But very similar to a barracuda, but the skin on it is just so soft and shiny. That's pretty cool. That little tail though, how does that propel it through the water? What do you reckon, Dan? Look how nubby it is.
It's got a long body, yeah. Yep.
And that is probably about a metre long, or just over a metre. I want to give up. I want to go home. I'm fed up. I'm over it. No, just kidding, Dan. I want to keep fishing. Just sad. What rope?
The one that's hanging off the fish.
Oh. Late afternoon, and I just got a midget little pooker. Okay, now I'm very happy about that. He's no giant, but that's pretty cool. On slow jig in our snapper spot. Working. Very, very cool. I reckon it might be another pooker, dude.
Just give it up.
Well, just run to start with. Now it's not doing much at all. Giant eel. Oh, it's another groper.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
That is real cool. Look at that, another pooker. Wow, that's wicked. And once again, a Stella 1000. Oh, I've done it. I've done my challenge. A groper on the Stella 1000. Yeah. Dude, that's mint. Could not be happier. That's two pooker I've got this afternoon. No snapper, but the pooker, and to be fair, I wanted a challenge to have a go and try and get a pooker on the Stella 1000. Well, I just did it twice. I mean, they're no record breakers, but that's pretty wicked. And there's plenty there, so I think we'll do a drift back up. The tide's not been pushing for probably about half an hour, 45 minutes, and that's when we've been getting the groper on the slack tide, actually, on the slow jigs. But now the tide's starting to push, and I think I've hooked up to a snapper. No record breaker, but it will be not a bad one, probably 12 pounds maybe. But we've been waiting for that tide to start pushing. Sun's just gone down. Turned out to be alright. It was pretty slow, but we got frost fish, which are very, very cool. 2-pup hooker, which is even cooler, especially in the snapper spot. But those size pooker, they'll generally be in a big size school, so I'm surprised Dan didn't hook up as well. You're letting the team down this afternoon, Dan. You know, you cleaned up this morning, you got all the snapper this morning, you got a lot of good snapper this morning. Okay, that snapper's a little bit bigger than I first expected. Oh, it's a good fish, Dan. No. Yeah. That fish is so much bigger than I expected, actually. That was awesome. It's starting to really go off now, except we've got little bite time left. We've probably got about another half hour, 45 minutes fishing time. Okay, it's just starting to fire now. Is that a good fish?
I really have to tell, eh? It's weird pulling up a fish with this rod.
It's a pretty heavy set rod, eh?
It is. It feels good though. Not massive though, I reckon sort of that 10 to 12 again.
We just got another groper. Oh, it's a big snapper. Check out him. From what's turned out to be a pretty awesome afternoon after such a horrible midday session. This morning was real good. Dan cleaned up. This afternoon it's just gone ballistic. This snapper has been caught before. Look at the mono. Look at his eye, Dan. See his eye?
Oh wow.
Can you check out his eye?
Yeah.
He's got to be probably easy 20, maybe 22 pounds. I'll put him on the measure board and we'll get a length on him. But seriously happy about that, guys. I was spiraling to serious fishing depression. Now I'm stoked. It's an 80 centimetre snapper. And Dan's cute little pooker. Oh my god, I didn't know they got that small. He's so cute. Look how cool his colours are. Check out this. Oh, watch yourself, buddy. Jesus, you hooked yourself. That is cool.
It's cute.
He is cute. He's tiny.
Oh,
Look how tiny he is.
little guy.
That's so awesome. You got your glasses on?
Oh, 4 eyes. Didn't need to be nasty.
It wasn't very nasty. Late afternoon, we've just pulled up to a new spot. We're going to have a bit of a go here before we go to the mooring. It's getting pretty dark now. Well, Dan's complaining he can't see his line. And to be fair, nor can I. Right, it has been a pretty good afternoon to catch a frost fish, a couple of little pooker, and ended up with that big snapper. Actually, we haven't got any other snapper at all, Savo, have we?
Oh,
Just that one.
Little cute one.
Oh yeah, Dan got a mini one. How long do you reckon it was?
Really legal.
But happy with this afternoon. Dan's been running his drags on like about 0.3 of a kilo drag. So when I pull it, it's just like pulling it. So when you get a wonky gonk on, or a little snapper, it smokes it like he's got a 20 pounder.
That's not true, man.
It is pretty true. I keep adjusting it and then he changes it back. Every time I touch it, it's just like real easy. But he's onto a fish now.
It's so hard to drag like this.
Is it actually a good fish?
Well, it's hard to tell. I cranked up the drag because I felt like it doesn't make any line, but I'm just basically dragging it in. That's not a bad fish. Oh, dropped it.
You lost it? It was a big one too, eh? We just pulled up to the mooring site. We're getting the snapper, we're putting the snapper on ice. Dan's trying to put the frost fish into the live bait well. We've got a nor'easter cold breeze coming in. So we've just parked up the mussel farm and we just pointed the boat into it. So hopefully that'll stop a bit of the breeze, but it's freezing. Going to switch out to the beanie now. So we're going to park up and have tea, crash out, and we'll get up early in the morning and we're going to go out for possibly Actually, to be fair, we've got no idea. We're going to wake up in the morning and make a plan of attack. See what the wind and weather's going to do, and then go from there.
I'm not too sure how to test them till they're done there. Oh yeah.
So Dan is a chef by trade, and he has made the biggest burger patties, homemade ones, in history. And what would you call them, Dan? Chili burger
Let's just go
patties?
chili and chili flakes. Yeah.
Chili flakes. So these are. It's going to be the most epic burger on a boat you'll ever have.
Or shit.
or shit, he said. I think they're going to be pretty good, pal. You've been cooking them for like 2 hours, so we're getting there.
2 hours?
Stop opening the lid, mate. You're on the lid, off the lid.
You want to keep that?
Even though I know that as a chef, you don't do that.
Hey.
Whoa, what are you doing now? You're
like
putting cheese on them.
Do you like cheese? No, I'm making it. That melted cheese happening. Oh yeah, that'll that's okay. I need a knife, dude. Do you have a knife?
You're on the bait board.
Oh yeah. No, is it all clean?
Yeah, they're all extremely clean.
Sweet.
Possibly not.
You sure you want English mustard? It's hot. You'll love it. It's hot. It'll go really nicely with the chili. Oh no, that'll yeah. You sure you? Yeah. Why don't I make my one first, and then I'll work out whether it needs. You want yours cooked through? Your beef?
So what are you saying? Are you saying why don't you make yours and then decide if mine
Needs longer.
I like that. I like how you're the crash test dummy. That's commitment, Dan.
I reckon it should probably done. You sure you'd like the stuff?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought you were crash test dumbing it for me.
Nah. No, they're more about the meat, but in actual fact it'll be fine. I normally wouldn't cook it through, but in fact it'll just be a big lump of uncooked meat. As opposed to, more of a beef tartare burger. There we go. Ready for your burger? There we go. Sweet. Got some hot sauce?
What? You've got... I don't get it. You've got hot mustard, you've got hot chili, and then you're going to put hot sauce on it.
Yeah, that's it.
Is this a setup?
Yeah.
What are you putting on it now?
Some sort of mayonnaise? You want some of that shit?
Yeah, well, it's probably extremely hot mayo like everything else, is
very
it?
cooling mayonnaise. Yeah, that'll be fine. Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Alright, if it's not, you can't see the bag.
That's Dan's burger. Look how big that patty is. Okay, we'll give it a shot. It's pretty cooked pretty good through, dude. Actually, on a cold Wednesday night, I don't think you can get a better feed, mate. Pretty good, man. Wow. Dude, it's exceptionally good. Damn. Wow. See why you're a chef, eh? We'll carry on eating this and then probably go to bed. Day 2. We had a pretty good sleep last night. Crashed out pretty early actually. We had those burgers. We watched Step Brothers and crashed out at about 9 o'clock, I think it was. It's 6:30 now and we are just making our way out. Plan is to go for a snapper first thing. Still trying to chase that 30 pounder, so we're going to go for a snapper now. About 10 o'clock we're going to go for a run for some puka, and then after that I'd say we'll puka and probably run straight home after that. So probably about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock we might make our way home, 1 o'clock-ish. At the moment we're having an up and go for breakfast. Not quite as good as Dan's luxury 2-inch burgers, but nevertheless pretty good, Dan, pretty good. What do you reckon it is? Another groper. Dan's into the first fish of the morning. No idea what it is, to be fair. Looking at its rod, I'm saying snapper. Right, dropped a good fish just before, landed a good trevally. Now I'm hooked up to an absolute giant. To be fair, I'm pretty stressed out. I've got the shakes at the moment. I've been dropping so many fish and I'm just hanging for that massive snapper. The Diluna 8'6" is fully folded over. The little Stella has been smoking line constantly, and I'd say I'm probably about 60 metres out still. Oh well. Oh, dropped him. Oh, damn. That was an absolute monster, man. Can't work out why I keep dropping them. Must be just sort of like lip hooked, eh? Gutted.
I just dropped one. I wonder if that...
Trevally?
Yeah.
This is not a trevally. It's got two bigger head nods. Just hooked up again.
This one didn't feel like a snapper.
Oh, I didn't. I've spiraled into serious fishing depression after dropping 2 fish. This is a good one as well. Nah, he's going forward, Dan, we're alright. It's all sitting good, mate. It's all sitting good. Emotionally, I'm not good. But boat-wise, yes, we're sitting good. It's a really good fish. Not as good as the last one that I dropped. That was a giant. Couldn't get him off the bottom. Did more line out. He was actually heading away from the boat. And that's so gut-wrenching to lose one. We dropped a couple this morning. This is a good fish though. One tip I'll give you is make sure you keep a bend in your rod all the time. So if you're running lures and you take that pressure off, depending on the size of the lure, like a 150 gram, they'll just throw that. So just shake it out. So keep constant pressure and constant bend on your rod. That's why these longer flexier rods are actually quite good. Takes a lot of pressure off the line, the hooks. I actually think this fish is a lot bigger than I originally thought. Line wise out, it's not giving up though. Yeah, this is a real good fish. I I didn't think he was that good to start with, Dan. Some big head nods in this guy. Getting up now, but I still think he's probably 50 metres out. I'm certainly taking heaps of time with this one. Just keep an eye on the rod, keeping the bend in it. It's been a pretty stressful morning. To land one good one today will be pretty good. Don't like the feel of that. Don't like it when their tail hits the line, eh? Or it gets caught under their fins. Shit, this guy's just not giving up, man. Okay, he's just popped out in the distance there. Like that, mate. What are you doing? You were sidetracking. This guy is still going strong right there, Dan. Look at that.
And I'm not shitting you.
Get him in the net, Dan.
Finally, I was worried for you, okay? I was wondering whether I was going to have to take over for you.
Right, there you go. Pretty happy with that. That was a pretty good battle. That fish just fought. Hey, Dan, just kept going. Even right at the surface, as you'll see, it just kept battling away. Pretty weighty. I'd say probably around 21, 22 pounds. But stoked with that. I've just been having a debacle this morning, dropping good fish. Certainly the one I dropped before, that was a giant. I just couldn't get it off the bottom. And this guy battled hard, but there's so much fish sign on the sound this morning. They're there in big numbers, but they're a little bit finicky. Stoked with that. We're going to carry on. That was wicked. Good fight. Good fight. Longer than yesterday's one.
Well,
Bigger than yesterday's one. I'll give it a measure. Bouncing between 22 and 23. Between 22 and 23, Danny. Maybe you could just drive for me. Not fish and just drive for me.
don't be like that. You gotta remember, I'm your lucky, fishing companion. If you want to catch big fish, you have to take me out. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, that's why I've taken you out, Dan. You're the lucky charm.
Thing with lucky fishermen, but my luck's not. It's hard to sort of concentrate it on just one, focus it on myself. The luck's spread around all over the boat. Wow, look at that! That was a great.
Yeah, that was a big patcher. Big patch.
I managed to avoid them though. Phew.
Hooked back up. We just went through a solid patch of fish and hooked up straight away. It was so thick, the sound is reading it as hard bottom. If I land this fish before the 2-minute time's out on the sounder, I'll be able to back swipe up to 2 minutes, and I can show you the fish sign. It's a good snapper. I'm thinking it's going to be around a 12 pounder or something like that. Big head nods. It's funny, me and Dan were talking that yesterday morning I couldn't catch a fish to save my life, and he just cleaned up with his lures. What were you using yesterday? What were you even using?
Hybrid.
A hybrid, and I couldn't catch anything. In the afternoon I was catching fish and he couldn't catch anything, so. And this morning, I don't know, it's not really been quiet, has it, Dan? There's plenty of sign, but the fish are a little bit...
I think I've been, there's some trevally around the snapper. We've caught pretty reasonable fish this morning.
Yeah. We've got a group of mollymawks right here looking at us. I know a fish is coming up. They're the most coolest, angriest birds you'll ever see. There's just massive head nods in this guy. Look at that, Dan.
Where are we?
Just we're alright actually at the moment. Line wise,
60 metres.
can you see it on the sounder?
Yeah.
He is too. I'm at 60 metres. The NSS Evo's picking him up. Hopefully I can show you that, guys, because that's pretty cool how the sounder does that. It actually picks up the lures dropping as well in the line. And if you're not really drifting far and you're fishing vertical under your sounder, you can actually watch your slow jigs going up and down. Hey Dan, would you want to take over this battle site to do a bit of filming, mate, of the reel and stuff? Or the rod, or are you not happy with that? Keep the bend in. When he wants to go, let him go. Right, so I felt bad for Dan. And I said to him, hey, you want to take it so I can do some filming? But it was just a cheap ploy to make him catch a fish, really.
What a waste.
Oh, don't be like that, Dan. I did actually want to get a couple of shots of the angry mollymawks gawking at us.
Oh,
And a couple of shots with the reel.
cute little reel.
Oh, you can see him coming all the way up, actually. Right, we'll get that pole cam.
Far away, eh? No. Feels like he's given up, wherever he is.
Yeah, I've got him right there. Nice, Dan.
See what you did there, Mark. Oh, Jesus.
You okay?
That's why you're losing, isn't it?
When you're mucking around like that down, when you're pulling around, you lose fish.
Oh, that's colour.
It's a good fish. Well done, Dan.
Oh, good job.
What'd you think of the Diluna and Stella?
Cute. Extremely.
Did you say cute?
Yeah.
He called my rod and reel cute. I think that's quite. Well, I think it's quite mean, actually, Dan. He's got his colour back already.
Oh, wow. It was interesting, wasn't it? Must have just seen you and went white. Oh, man.
Well, you keep asking the same question, and the answer never changes.
You keep telling me you're going to change. See, what I'm trying to do is work out.
There you go. Nice little fish. Dan's real emotional at the moment. He's spiralling into fishing depression. Don't be like that, Dan. He's getting real angry at me because I'm keeping what I'm using a secret from him. Classic. It's turning out to be a good morning. It's 11 o'clock. The weather's turned a bit actually. On the other side it's a nor'easter coming in, and on this side it's nor'easter. At least it's just coming around Stevens, but yeah. She's not that ideal at the moment. We didn't have any more luck with the snapper. We only, lots of sign, but they just weren't feeding. Managed to get those two good ones anyway. Did we get two good ones? Two good ones, yeah. So it turned out to be a pretty good morning, but now it's gone a bit pear-shaped. We have D'Urville Island to ourselves. There's no one anywhere up here. The forecast must be, well, on the radio it's gale force for D'Urville, but it's not really rough at all at the moment. It's pretty good. Bit of wind coming in, but I don't know, what are we going to do, Dan? Carry on for a while doing this?
Yep. My boat coming up.
Oh, we've got a boat, do we? Oh, there is a boat. Whoa! He's coming up late. So we're drifting around and we're going to have a jig for some kings. And I lied, there's one other boat up here. Right, so it's deteriorated now. We left up top. It was pretty shoddy up top, wasn't it, Dan? And now that nor'easter's kicked in. And it's probably doing 12 knots now, 12, 13 knots, but it's pretty rough here. We're having another drift, good sign anyway. So we're going to see if we can get Dan a fish for the day.
That's just mean, though.
It was pretty mean actually, I don't mean it, Dan. You were here for support though, that was good.
What do you mean? I caught the first fish, then you spiraled into depression. Then I helped boost you by spreading my good luck.
Yeah, you did. I did do some toy throwing, but I think I dropped my giant snapper I've been chasing. That was epic. You do the finishing talk for us, Dan.
No, mate.
Oh, don't turn the thing, you're going to break it, you see? You've got to turn the whole thing.
Oh.
Dan's throwing his toys because he doesn't want to do the finishing talk to the end of the flog, which is pretty rude of him, really. I took him on a nice fishing trip and he was my net guy. Without you, Dan, I wouldn't have been able to net the fish. Well, actually, to be fair, I probably would have, but it was nice to have you along. I've been winding him up all afternoon. He's getting a little grumpy now. He had a good sleep on the way back. Cue the footage now. But the weirdest trip back, we had nor'westers to mid Tasman Bay, eh? And then you could see it coming, mill pond glass, and then it went into sou'wester chop. So it was kind of like between the two different wind patterns, there was a calm spell, which was pretty crazy. But yeah, that was a bit of a long ride back. It was a bit lumpy at the top end, but we're back into Port Nelson now. That was a good trip with Dan. We had some good laughs and we got some good fish. It was pretty hard, the tides were really big. On the full moon they're massive, and we're just on the way back. We're going to try and stop at a couple other spots, but just the tide was unbelievable. Bottle Point, it was, I've never seen it like that actually. Unfishable. But yeah, once again guys, thanks for watching the vlog, and stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time. Do you fake sleeping?
No.